Hello, I'm Judy Corrao and welcome to America Salutes. America salutes its veterans. One of the issues that's occurring with veterans that you've heard so much about is the issue of suicide. Very, very tough issue. Today, Milton Schoen, who is the Veteran Service Officer for Hennepin County, and Pamela End of Horn, who is the Suicide Prevention Officer for the Veterans Administration in St. Cloud, are going to take you through steps on this very real issue.
I would just like to say Pamela is got a Master's of Social Work from the University of North Dakota Grand Forks. She's a licensed social worker just like you are. She's a great asset. She's conducted a training for our county veteran service officers in the community, and I just say that we've got a wonderful working relationship with her and the St. Cloud VA Medical Center, and I want to thank them for what they do for the veterans.
Thank you.
This is what you do. You are a mental health social worker and you have a big specialization, suicide prevention. Talk about it. And the commitment the VA has made to suicide prevention.
I'm a suicide prevention coordinator. I'm one of 156 suicide prevention coordinators across the nation. Every medical center in the nation has a suicide prevention coordinator. Some medical centers have 2, 3, 4. What we do, or what our job is to, number one, be there for the veteran. First and foremost, to identify and track those veterans who are at high risk for suicide. Our second job is to educate our staff in recognizing and responding to suicide risk. Knowing what to look for, understanding how to respond to it, being empathic with our veterans so that they know the veteran is not alone. And then the third job, which is really one of the best things that we can do, is we reach out to the community. We talk to community stakeholders, we let them know that the VA is here, let them know of services, and how they can get a veteran into services with the VA should the veteran need it.
And that's what you're doing here today.
Yes.
What would you tell our audience?
First and foremost, anybody, anyone, age, race, gender, can start thinking about suicide. And thoughts of suicide, as common as they are, it's really when that person starts to move towards an action, is when people need to start thinking about, okay, how do I get this individual who I know, who I possibly love, help? First, to understand and recognize the warning signs of suicide. If that individual is talking or writing about death, if they're seeking ways to hurt themselves, if they're asking and giving away prized possessions, having a drastic change in mood. An example would be someone who is deeply depressed and then within a very short amount of time changes and says, I'm happy. Oh, by the way, I'm going to write a will. Yes.
Right.
And I'm updating my will. I'm doing all of these things just in case. And being able to have the family or the person who is in this person's life to say, okay, something's wrong.
And it's really important that if anyone becomes aware of this, that they let us know. We've had cases where spouses, where significant others have informed us of the veteran needing help, and that's how we find out about it, and that's how we can act and get the person detoxified, get the person admitted to the VA, and get them the help that they need so that they can move on in life.
If you know them very well, if you're close with them, to not be afraid to talk to them and ask them and say, this is what you're doing and it makes me scared. Are you thinking of ending your life? Are you thinking of killing yourself? That is the hardest question anyone can ask.
That's to be the hardest question.
Especially if you love that person.
Yeah.
It's even harder, in my personal opinion, it's even harder to say that to somebody you don't know.
How do you think they're going to answer? If they are.
Most often they answer truthfully.
They do?
Yes. Yes, I'm thinking about suicide. Yes, I'm thinking about killing myself.
And you're doing this interview with a person you love, and you're really trying to gather the information. What do you do with that information then as the spouse or the significant other? How do you handle that?
I would tell people, focus on the problems that's going on with that person. What's brought them there? Find out what is it that's making their life so unbearable? What is it that's causing the emotional pain that they're feeling? And then to persuade them to stay alive. telling them what's worth living for within their life.
What examples do you have?
Well, we're always concerned about people who've got depression to make sure that they're getting the treatment they need, they're getting the medications that they need, and that is dealt with, because you know, that is a significant issue, and we're very worried about people who have depression, especially untreated depression, that they're more likely to go this route.
One of the best resources anybody can use, not only veterans, is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255 or 1-800-273-TALK.
Is it answered 24 hours a day?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're a veteran, family member of a veteran, or a friend of a veteran, press 1. And what you'll do is you'll be actually connected to a VA in Canandaigua, New York, Canandaigua VA. That is the Center of Excellence for Suicide Prevention within the VA system. And what they'll do is they'll talk to a mental health professional, a staff member of the VA. They don't have to disclose their name or social security number or anything, it's confidential. But if they choose to get a referral to a suicide prevention coordinator anywhere in the nation, they can tell that mental health worker, this is my name, this is where I would like to get care. And a referral can be generated by them to the VA site of their choice. And then that suicide prevention coordinator will contact them within 24 hours.
And one of the things about the VA is it is committed to dealing with this issue. Last year, there were more veterans who committed suicide than soldiers and Marines who were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh my goodness, say that figure again so I know I heard it right.
There are more veterans who committed suicide than combat deaths in Iraq or Afghanistan. And the VA, as Pamela has mentioned, they have a suicide prevention coordinator at every healthcare facility, whether it's St. Cloud or Minneapolis or Fargo or Sioux Falls, any place that serves veterans in our state. This is in place, and the VA is committed to that and making sure the resources are out there so that veterans can be served. And there's been a real effort to make sure that it just wasn't in major medical centers, but it's all over the country.
Are there any magic words?
The magic word I would always tell people is to tell the person that they're cared for, that they're not alone, that they don't have to do this alone. Just to say that they're cared for, that helps break the isolation and feelings of burdensomeness that some individuals may feel. This National Suicide Prevention Hotline, they have over 150,000 calls in the first 2 years that they've run. For the St. Cloud VA Medical Center, we've had over 50.
And you've had over 50. And I am so sorry that we have run out of time, because it's such a pleasure to be here with someone that's so deeply committed to veterans and to mental health. You're going to have to promise me you're going to come back.
I will.
Thank you, Pamela End of
you.
Horn. And Pamela is the person to get a hold of in the state of Minnesota, and the 1-800 number is
1-800-273-8255.
And Milton Schoen, Director of Veteran Service. And you have the last 30 seconds.
Well, in the cases we're involved with, first we'll connect them to the VA healthcare system, and then we follow up, because if a person's got depression, if they got financial issues, whatnot, we'll try and work with the VA Home Loan Guarantee to see if there's anything we can work there to get benefits, financial benefits, and to try and assist that person so there's more hope in their life. And so we're trying to tie both the medical end and the benefit side when we're helping these individuals.
We thank you both, Pamela End of Horn and Milton Schoen, for the kind of work that you do for our society. And thank you for being with us today. Have a great day.